Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, I have something really fun and exciting to show you, and that's going to be the team that I actually managed to use yesterday on the Grave of Venom to beat stage 7. So basically, I unlocked myself legendary gear. I do want to emphasize from the beginning that this is not a free-to-play team, okay? This is by any means, far from being a free-to-play team, but I really liked it because it is a little bit of a different one compared to what we are usually used to, compared to what we see in, in these dungeons at the top, which are, most of the time, there are the unkillable teams, okay? So this is not an unkillable team, but it's a team that requires legendaries, it requires, some decent gear, decent presets, all of that good stuff. So before I jump into showing you this, I want to give a massive shout out to my clanmate Oldwood, because he was the one that actually showed this in our Eternals Discord, and when I saw that I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, can you show me how you did it? So he gave me some screenshots of his of his people, of the team and whatnot, and it's, I just tried it and I basically managed to do it. So let me show you first of all what I mean. So if you go into the lineup recommendation, which is going to be down here, okay, you're going to see that most of the time you see teams that have the unkillable, okay, Zephy, Ogak, okay, so stuff like that. This one's another quirky one, again, full inspired. My champions are not going to be inspired, okay, my heroes, none of them are inspired, but at least it's something different compared to the unkillables. This one's a really nice one that I see over here, I like it. So Ascetius, Cinorel, Garius, Adolphus, and Megan. It's a really quirky one. So if you ever want to get some ideas, sorry, if you ever want to get some ideas, just go to the dungeon, then click lineup recommendation. It's going to give you some ideas, but you're going to see that most of the stuff that's at the top requires, these two, and mostly they're inspired and whatnot. So let's have a look actually at the team that I'm using. Again, that my clanmate Oldwood came up with and he tested, and it's going to be a different one. Like, I would have not thought about this team in a million years, and it's using mostly support champions, okay? So the first one that we're going to use is Ardreth, which she's a free legendary. If you played season 2 and you're getting to season 3, you should have got her. If you didn't get her, you definitely missed out. She's amazing. However, you're going to be able to get her in the next few seasons, as they're going to, Uteor comes back, Ardreth comes back in the shop, okay, in the season shop. But anyway, Ardreth is the main one, and the reason why she's so good is because she brings the defense no battles for everybody if you want to use. But this one's really powerful. She increases the healing that all allies receive by 50% when she procs her ultimate. I'm going to show you the builds afterwards. But Ardreth, then we have Mithrasia. Mithrasia is really amazing because of several things. First of all, she has the passive that blocks somebody from dying in the first turn. You're going to see she brings healing on the battle skill, but she also brings revive, buffs, and or revive on death for everybody, okay? So she does full board that. This is just amazing. Then we have Zorloth, which is kind of in a damage build, what with Witch's Remains. He's the one that applies debuffs. The stats obviously not going to be perfect. It's whatever gear I had, that's what I use. So he's mostly in there for the damage, some debuffs that he brings that can help. Then we have Jordan, which, honestly, I'm not 100% sure why Jordan is needed for the team, but it works. However, what he brings to the team is attack penalty. He brings some ultimate energy boost on his passive. Okay, there's a chance to give him and the surrounding allies ultimate energy, which is going to be himself and Zorloth. But at the same time, he pushes back the ultimate energy on the ultimate. So that's something that helps, kind of stops the boss from going so often. And the quirky one at the end over here, which is kind of in a damage build again, is going to be Phaedra, okay? She's really amazing because she does healing to everybody, a lot of healing, resistance up, which doesn't really help in this battle, but then she also brings a decent amount of damage, also with a chance of inflicting blind, okay? The blind means that the side adds will not be able to do basic attacks, and that's what they always do. They do basic attacks, so when the boss attacks, they have a chance to join with the attack, so this one will make them not attack. But this is a team, let's run it and see how it goes. Again, it's not going to be perfect, okay? This team is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be 100%. It just depends on the RNG. But the way it works is, as you can see, the first hit, Mithrasia just, she takes the first hit herself, the first few hits, and then she procs that passive to keep her alive. Okay, without that passive, it would be quirky to do over here. You would need to have somebody be extremely tanky to make sure it survives, but it's kind of like she's definitely the MVP, okay? Definitely the MVP because, stuff's gonna happen, people are gonna die, you're gonna need those revive on that passive, so that's how it makes it work. You can see again, Ardreth proc the passive again, same principle. But again, the way that this one works is we get a ton of healing. You get a ton of healing happening, and you know, that's what kind of keeps you alive. Then the quirky thing this season is if you don't have 2 debuffs when the boss does the ultimate, she can randomly hit somebody else. So the boss can just hit somebody in the back and kill them, and that's where it becomes a little bit of a problem. However, if that does happen and somebody dies, at least for my team, Mithrasia can always just revive them. So, you know, we're pretty good with that. I think that when it comes to this team, most of the people could be replaced, honestly. Most of the people could be replaced, but I think that the one that's mandatory for this team is kind of like Mithrasia, okay? If you cannot sustain those first initial hits, and if you cannot keep attack penalty up there consistently, then as soon as the boss does this massive hit, if you don't have attack penalty and you die, it's kind of over, okay? So that's why Mithrasia is pretty much the MVP. Then again, Ardress does help a lot because of that healing that she brings, that boosted healing and healing, plus she's a really good tank, and at the same time, her passive, when that hits the 10th tick, everybody gets you see, not 2 debuffs, the boss went at the back. But when the passive of Audra hits the 10th tick, she gives everybody 30% increased defense. You saw Audra died, but this is where Mithrasia is gonna come in, and she's gonna revive Audra, is gonna revive Zarlas. When it comes to everybody else, like for example Finja, she could be replaced with somebody like a Sinorel, if you have him, okay? Somebody that brings some damage, brings some healing, you know, all the good stuff, and Sinorel will be really good because he also has attack penalty on his passive, so that could be really helpful, okay? Again, look at that. We take those crazy hits without Mithrasia, this would not be possible. So I think that apart from Mithrasia, kind of like everybody else could be replaced. I'm not sure, again, not sure because I've not tested it much. I built it yesterday, I tried it, it was amazing, I had fun with it, and I just kept it, and I said I definitely want to make a video. But I have a feeling that maybe you could replace John with somebody else that brings, again, more healing, damage, attack penalty, Finjot, same principle, like I said, Sinorel, other people that basically, you want a lot of healing, okay? For this specific team, you want a lot of healing, you want some damage, and you want to have attack penalty. Attack penalty is one of the most, if not the most important debuff, and I keep saying this every single season. Attack penalty is arguably one of the most important debuffs that you want to get, because the bosses can hit so hard that if you don't have that attack penalty, you can get one shot. And obviously, if you get one shot, the run's over, you lose, and that's about it. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this run go till the end, and then I'm gonna show you the builds that I have on my people. So see you in a bit. Okay, and we're coming back towards the end. You can see that this one, you know, it works pretty fine. It's not a fast team by any means, because obviously we don't have the gear, we don't have the levels, the stats are not perfect, but we have all level 70s, okay? They're not even ascended, so it works just fine. And the fun thing that you're gonna see over here is actually the damage and who are the damage dealers. So you're gonna see that the funniest thing is Finja is actually the top damage dealer, and that's because built her with damage. So you have Finja, then we have Jorn, and then we have Zarlas as the damage dealer. So let's have a look at the builds now. So the builds are gonna be mostly you care to get the accuracy required, okay? So if you go over here and you look, it shows you that you need 170 accuracy. That's pretty hard to get early on, okay? You might need to use consumables, you might need to use maybe somebody else that brings you an accuracy aura, so you definitely want to keep in mind that's priority number 1, you want the accuracy. And then number 2 is gonna be the important ones, again, now free to play friendly, the important ones are gonna be the artifacts, okay? Because the gear is not the best. So when we look at Jorn, he's running at 145, again, it's not perfect, you want to get to 170, but it works pretty okay. And then, you know, whatever stat, they're not the best, okay? Not the best, it's just some accuracies, flat attack, defense percent, you know, whatever gear I had on him. I did give him the hourglass to give him more skill haste, so he basically comes back to his attack penalty faster and to his ultimate faster, because I guess that's what he does, lots of turn meter control, of ultimate energy control. Then when it comes to Finja, she's a damage dealer, 60% crit rate. Wow, it's what we got. But I do have her in 4 pieces of the Barbarian, okay? This one gives her attack percent and crit rate. I do have crit rate gloves, defense percent. Again, you're gonna see that it's not perfect gear. I just have a few pieces of gear and I'm using what I have. The quirky thing that I'm using on her actually, which I noticed that makes it more reliable for me, is the Gatekeeper staff. The reason why I'm doing that is because, well, the damage is quite there even you know, even with a gatekeeper staff. But what this one does is, because she has a really good heal on her ultimate, if she overheals, she's gonna give shields to people, okay? She's gonna give shields to everybody, because the way her healing works is it's a full board, okay? It's a full board heal, so she's gonna give that extra that extra, you know, healing and shield to everybody. It's a massive heal, 20% target max HP, 3000 enlightenment. So that's why this one's so powerful, and that's why I chose to go with the gatekeeper staff. Then when it comes to Ardreth, this one seems to be a quirky one for her, the new epic artifact, Raven's Eye Patch, because it reduces the damage taken by 29% when she takes damage that exceeds 35% of their max HP in a single hit. This one's gonna happen. You're gonna take a big hit, so you can try this, but it might work with Mask of the Lark, or maybe if you have some other legendary artifacts. I noticed that this is what Allwood used. I tried this, it worked, and I'm keeping it there. And when it comes to stats, defense percent, basically trying to keep her tanky, but again, you're limited on gear early on, so not the best. Mithrasia, I do have Mithrasia with the Solar King's Horn, because when she heals, she's gonna boost the damage for everybody else, okay? She heals on the battle skill, the recovery over time counts as a heal every time it ticks, okay? So those ones tick, so this one can get maxed out, which brings us that little bit of extra damage just to finish it in time, because you saw we finished it and it was like 30 seconds left. Maybe without this artifact, it would not work. Again, not free to play friendly. Then when it comes to stats, again, attack, it's whatever I had. Whatever I had to complete some sets. You mostly want to try and get enlightenment and HP on her, because that's what her heals are based off. And if you can get some skill haste, go ahead. And then the last one is going to be Zarloth. Again, whatever stats you can see, nothing too crazy, whatever stats I could get. I also used, I forgot to mention, Zarloth's Aura, that gives us 24% more attack. Again, any little extra push of damage that we can get, we're using. Then when it comes to artifacts, I do have Witch's Remains on him. I'm not sure you would be able to do it without Witch's Remains. You could try with a Crown, but I don't think it might be enough. Maybe if you have better stats on everything else, it will work. But Witch's Remains, and then 4 pieces of the accuracy gear, the Inquisitor, to try and get him as close to the 170 as possible. Again, I don't have it perfect, it works, but if I was even lower, I would have just used a consumable during these fights, and it is what it is. You know, just do whatever you can to try and farm gear. The reason why I did that is because once I get to stage 7, I have a chance to get legendary gear, and that's really important. You know, you kind of want to try and get past that rare and epic gear as soon as possible. You don't want to farm like crazy still, but you want to get a few you know, a few sets for all of your teams. But anyway, this is gonna be it for this video today, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, massive shout out to Allwood, my clanmate that showed me this. I'm really happy that he showed it, because now I can farm stage 7 instead of stage 6, because I was stuck at stage 6. But yeah, thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.